In this video, we will work on adding the sky. Now, between the last video and this one, I worked on an additional layer where I clone stamped some details in, something that was remaining to do. Now, in this one, let's concentrate on the sky. So let's head over to the bridge and open up the image img0530.tiff. Let's drag that into our matte painting. Let's move it down just above the background and make a folder for it. Let's call that sky and set the blending mode of the folder to normal. Now, in order to transform that, we would have to zoom out and start transforming the sky in. And let's position it so we get an interesting part of the sky, since the midground mountain is pretty tall based on our thumbnail and what the client liked, and will block out the lower section of the sky. Let me turn the foreground off, make a new layer on top, and now let's start working on cleaning up the sky. Now there are a few ways we can go about doing this. First, let's give Content Aware a shot. So on that layer, selecting the Content Aware tool and in the options set to sample all layers, for now it's just a single sky layer, let's paint over the right tree branches. Sometimes the Content Aware does not work perfectly, so we might have to try that a couple of times. Let's head over to the left-hand side and repeat the process. Overall, Content Aware is not giving us the desired result, so let's try something else. Let's switch to the Clone Stamp tool and try cloning some sections in. Usually I do work with multiple tools and keep switching between them. I feel the quickest way to do this is to use the standard paintbrush. So choosing a soft round brush with pressure sensitivity set to opacity and flow, let's sample from the sky image and start to paint on it. Repeating it on the left side. Let's keep sampling from different sections. Switching to the Clone Stamp tool to restore the cloud edge. So now that we have cleaned up the sky, that is on the sections we would be seeing, we need to add a stronger light direction, that is add emphasis to it. Now the clouds do indicate the direction of the sun, but we need to push it further. Switching on my global black and white layer on and adding a curves layer. Here, we will adjust to a lighter value for the sky, pushing the mid and the highs up. Pushing the values in the mid a little bit further. It's looking good there. And pushing the highs up as well. I use a lot of adjustment layers in my workflow, and that helps to keep things dynamic and gives me the option to turn them on and off as required. Now using a gradient, I'm going to paint into the mask of the curves. That is, apply the gradient into the curves to only lighten up that section of the sky from where the light is coming from. So what we did here was to push up all the colors at the same time. Next, we need to push the cyans and the blues and lighten them. So add a hue saturation layer and under cyan, push the lightness up. Let's repeat that for the blues. Now, a point to note is that when we lighten, it sometimes tends to desaturate the colors. So let's compensate for that. Now adding another curves layer on top, raise the black values. We can always return back and adjust for contrast later on, but for now let's just raise the black values. Next is to balance the color. Adding a color balance adjustment layers to our stack. Now we can observe that our plate has a lot of blue presence, so we need to match that hue in the sky. And it's relatively simple here. We just need to push the blues in the shadows up. And that's working well for us. Now in this lesson, we went over the process of adding a sky, cleaning it, removing the things we do not wish to see, emphasizing the light direction, and matching the values and color. In the next video, let's start to work on our background mountain.